They called him the Invisible Man. Every morning, before the city woke up and before the brokers screamed into their phones, a janitor quietly walked through the shining marble floors of Wall Street. He wasn't rich. He didn't have a college degree in finance. He didn't even own a suit. But what the world didn't know was that this same man, this janitor, would one day outsmart Wall Street itself. This is the story of Samuel Okoro, a simple man from Lagos, Nigeria, who came to America with nothing but a dream, and discovered the smartest money lesson of all. Every morning, Samuel pushed his old mop bucket across the lobby of Lombard & Pierce Investments, one of the biggest investment firms in New York. While analysts argued about stocks, crypto, and hedge funds, Samuel was sweeping floors and listening. He didn't understand all their words at first, but he understood one thing clearly. People with money often act foolish when emotions take over. After work, Samuel would sit in the empty break room with a cup of instant coffee and a small, battered notebook. He copied words he overheard during the day: dividends, compound interest, index funds, market cycles. He Googled every one of them on his old phone. Night after night, he learned. Quietly, consistently. One night, he overheard two young brokers arguing. Greater than. The market's too risky, man. No, bro. The problem isn't risk. It's emotion. That word, emotion, stuck in Samuel's mind. He realized, if everyone else was ruled by fear and greed, then maybe the real secret to wealth was patience. Samuel started small. After paying rent and sending money home to his wife and 2 kids in Lagos, he saved just $20 every week. He opened a simple online investing account. No fancy apps, no trading groups. He bought fractional shares of big companies, not to get rich fast, but to learn slowly. He avoided hype, he ignored trends, and he whispered to himself every time he invested. Greater than. Slow and steady beats fast and flashy. He wrote that down on a sticky note and taped it inside his locker. Years passed. The brokers upstairs changed jobs, lost bonuses, and complained about stress. But Samuel kept his rhythm. Every Friday, no matter what, he invested. When the market went up, he bought. When it went down, he bought even more. He didn't try to time the market. He trusted time itself. By his 10th year, his small, steady investments had quietly grown into something incredible: a 6-figure portfolio. No one knew. Not his coworkers. Not even his boss. To them, he was still just the janitor. But to Samuel, he was now financially free in silence. One afternoon, the firm's CEO, Richard Pierce, saw Samuel cleaning the lobby. "Sam," he said jokingly, "you ever think about investing? You work in the heart of Wall Street, after all." Samuel smiled softly. "Yes, sir. I've been investing for years." The CEO laughed. "Oh really? What do you trade? Lottery tickets?" Samuel wiped the last bit of dust off the marble floor and said, "Greater than. No, sir. I invest in patience." The CEO chuckled and walked away. unaware that the janitor who cleaned his floors had quietly built more wealth than half his staff. Then came 2020. The world froze. Markets crashed. People panicked. Even Wall Street veterans lost millions. But Samuel stayed calm. He remembered a quote he'd written in his notebook years ago. Greater than, be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. He didn't sell, he bought, and when the markets recovered, his portfolio nearly doubled. He didn't brag, he didn't boast, he just smiled, knowing that discipline always wins over drama. One evening, Samuel's daughter, Chica, called from Toronto, Canada. "Papa," she said, "my professor said ordinary people can't beat Wall Street." Samuel chuckled softly. "Greater than, that's what they want you to think, my dear. But remember, you don't have to beat them. You just have to understand yourself." Years later, when Samuel finally retired, the firm threw him a small farewell party. They thought he'd return home with barely enough savings. But a few months later, news spread across the company. Samuel Okoro had donated $200,000 to a scholarship fund for low-income students. The board was stunned. Reporters asked who he was. He simply said, "Greater than, just someone who believed in slow money and smart choices." Samuel's story traveled far. From New York to Toronto, from Lagos to Abuja, from classrooms to YouTube channels. He became a quiet symbol of what smart money truly means. Not luck, not high income, but discipline, patience, and faith in time. If Samuel were here, he'd tell you this. Greater than, your job may feed you, but your mindset will free you. Don't chase money. Master patience, and money will chase you. Because wealth isn't built on Wall Street. It's built in the mind that learns to wait. Before you scroll away, remember these 5 lessons from the janitor who outsmarted Wall Street. 1. Start small, but start today. $20 a week can change your life in 10 years. 2. Invest regularly. Don't wait for the perfect time. The time is now. 3. Avoid hype. If everyone's shouting about it, it's probably too late. 4. Control emotion. Money follows calm minds, not loud hearts. 5. Think long-term, because patience is the most powerful investment strategy ever created. This story was inspired by ordinary people across the world. People who proved that financial freedom doesn't come from Wall Street, it comes from wisdom. And just because I know you enjoyed the financial lessons from Samuel's story, here's a bonus one for you. Have you ever wondered what separates the rich from everyone else? Not just the money, but the mindset behind the money? This is the story of Amara, a young housemaid who went from cleaning wealthy homes to becoming the owner of one herself. A true smart money story. Born in Nigeria, told to inspire dreamers from Lagos to Toronto, from Houston to Vancouver. Amara grew up in a small town, the kind of place where opportunities were scarce but dreams were big. Her father was a carpenter. Her mother sold food by the roadside. After secondary school, she couldn't afford university. So, when her aunt told her about a housemaid job in the city, Amara packed her small bag and left home with hope, fear, and a quiet determination. Her new job was in the home of a wealthy couple, Mr. and Mrs. Lawson, successful entrepreneurs who ran multiple businesses across Nigeria and even Canada. Amara was just supposed to clean, cook, and stay invisible. But she was curious. She noticed everything. The Lawsons were unlike anyone she had ever met. They woke up early. They read books before breakfast. They talked about investments, cash flow, returns, and real estate deals over dinner. At first, Amara didn't understand. But every night, after cleaning the dining table, she'd take notes in an old notebook. She wrote words she didn't fully grasp yet. Assets over liabilities, passive income, compound interest, diversify your portfolio. Sometimes, she would quietly stand behind the hallway door, listening to Mr. Lawson's Zoom meetings with his partners in the USA and Canada. She realized something powerful. The rich don't just work for money, they make money work for them. That thought stayed in her mind like a seed waiting to grow. One evening, Mrs. Lawson gave Amara a bonus for her hard work. Most housemaids would spend it, but Amara remembered something she overheard. Greater than, never spend all you earn. Save, then invest. She didn't even know where to start, but she opened a small savings account. Every month, she saved a little. Then one day, she saw Mr. Lawson teaching his teenage son about business. He said, "It's not about how much you earn. It's about how much you keep and grow." That night, Amara went online using her small phone. She began learning YouTube videos about smart money habits, podcasts about investing, and blogs about building wealth in Africa and North America. Her world started to expand beyond her job. After months of learning, she decided to take her first step. She noticed how many workers in her neighborhood struggled to get good food during lunch breaks. So she started a small food delivery side hustle. Just a few meals a day, cooked after work. She reinvested her profits, grew slowly, and soon hired another girl to help. Amara didn't have formal business training, but she understood the principles she had been listening to all along. Use your earnings to build assets. Create value for others. Grow through consistency. Within 2 years, her side business was earning more than her maid job. She smiled to herself and whispered, "Greater than, I finally learned the secrets of the rich." One day, Mrs. Lawson called her into the study. "Amara," she said, "you've changed. You're more confident. What have you been doing lately?" Amara hesitated, then confessed everything. How she'd been observing, learning, and saving. Mrs. Lawson was impressed. Instead of scolding her, she smiled and said, "Greater than, you've done what most people never do. You paid attention." That's the first rule of wealth. From that day, Mrs. Lawson became her mentor. She taught Amara about budgeting, credit, and how to expand her small business legally and sustainably. They even discussed how to register it as a brand that could operate in Nigeria and eventually sell to clients abroad. Amara's dream no longer felt distant. It felt real. 3 years later, Amara left her job as a maid, not in anger, but in gratitude. She had saved enough to open her own small restaurant, employing others just like her former self. She hung a sign above the door that read, "Serve with heart, grow with wisdom." Her story went viral on social media. People in Nigeria, the USA, and Canada shared her quote. Greater than, "I didn't learn from a classroom. I learned from observation and discipline." Soon, a local business show invited her to speak about smart money habits and financial freedom. She stood in front of the camera, nervous but proud, and said, "Greater than, the rich are not born with secrets. They build them, one habit at a time." A few years later, Amara bought her own home, a simple, beautiful place that reminded her of the Lawson's house, only this time, she was the owner. And every Sunday, she invited young girls from low-income families to her restaurant for free financial literacy classes. She taught them about saving, business ideas, and the mindset that changed her life. Her story became a symbol of hope, smart money, and transformation. She didn't win the lottery. She didn't marry rich. She simply learned, observed, and applied. So, what can we learn from Amara? Pay attention. The biggest lessons are often around you. Save first, spend later. Invest in yourself before anything else. Observe successful people. Not to envy them, but to understand them.